So I've been about 2 weeks here now in Spain, and last night I was in the gym. I was looking at myself in the mirror. Vain, I know. But I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, my abs are probably the best they've ever looked. They're the deepest, they're the most defined they've ever been. Okay, and I normally don't really train abs, being 100% honest. Not directly. But since I've been in this gym, there's two really good pieces of equipment, abs specific. And every time after cardio, every second day, just automatically I hop on and do it. It takes me like 5 minutes extra. I'm not even really thinking about it when I'm doing it because it's nearly automatic because it's a really good piece of equipment. It's there in front of me. It doesn't take long and I'm just drawn to it and I get a good contraction off it. Okay? As I was walking home from the gym then I got a message from one of my guys I had a call with earlier that day, and he said to me, man, thank you so much. It's so nice to be able to actually talk to people about this stuff. We were talking about paradigms, just his training, his nutrition, mindfulness. We were talking about all of that. But in his current environment, he doesn't have these people that he can talk to about it. So it nearly feels alien to him. Okay, and it really got me thinking. Your environment, without any real effort, really shapes who you are and shapes your outcomes. Because for me, if those machines weren't in the gym, my abs probably wouldn't be looking as good. But the fact that I'm in that gym and they're there, with effortlessly, it nearly automatically, I go to them and it just gives me the result of better abs. For my client, he doesn't have the people around him, but now he's invested in himself, he's working with me, and now we have these conversations on a weekly basis. Throughout the week, we're texting about certain things. And you can see the snowball effect that it's having in his life and actually in his partner's life. She's now going to the gym more. She's now actively focusing on mindfulness work and doing her morning meditations, and they have their own specific routines that they're now starting to do. But that's then going to snowball into every other area of their life just because of your environment. And I think for me, the biggest one that really stands out for me now is when I first moved to Dubai, there was a group of coaches that I'd met and I started hanging out with them. But thankfully I was self-aware enough to kind of like audit the current environment that I was in, and I was like, okay, these guys are doing a lot of drinking. They seem to care more about the lifestyle side of things right now rather than growing their business. And I was like, that's not going to end well, and that's not what I want. My priorities now are my clients, my business. So I pulled myself out of that environment. The money that I would have spent being out with them, I actually invested into a mentorship. I think it was maybe like $2,000 a month or something at the time. I invested into a mentorship. I done that for 6 months. But the people I was then exposed to were on a whole other... These guys were all above me, in reality. They were all above me. So then, what happened? The way they view the world, their beliefs, their thought processes, their paradigms, I started soaking up all of that. And for me, I was the quiet guy. I wasn't really saying much. I was nervous to talk or anything at this time. And what happened is it just became the norm. The conversations, I'd then meet them out. I'd then start hanging out with them. I'd train with them. We'd chat about life. We'd chat about our businesses. We'd chat about our clients. How are we going to improve the service? How can we become the best versions of ourselves to give back, essentially? That's what the conversations were. Each and every day. Literally each and every day. To the point where it maybe got to, we need some switch off time as well. I remember we all said it, we're like, guys, we need to take one day where, we just chill, we relax, we talk about fucking random shit. Because that is important as well. That is important. But it's like the dominating thoughts that you have and the dominating conversations that you do have, that's what you attract into your life. And that's who you become, essentially. Your thoughts becomes your words then become your actions, and your actions becomes your reality. Okay, so just make sure that if you do one thing, you audit your current environment, you figure out, okay, who are the people and places that are having a positive impact, who are the people and the places and the environments and the conversations that are actually having a negative impact, and just remove yourself from them. I'm not saying you need to completely eliminate people from your lives. Certain people probably, other people no. Like you don't need to completely eliminate, but you just need to be very, very mindful when you're around them and not to be soaking up their beliefs, because if their beliefs are not where you're trying to get to, it's going to hold you back, and especially if you're with them too often. Okay, so you need to get around people who have beliefs about what you're trying to achieve, whether you're trying to become an artist, whether you're trying to become a musician. If you're hanging out with a load of fucking broke artists, You're going to be a broke artist. It's as simple as that. But if you get yourself, and even if you have to pay to play to get around fucking successful people, successful artists, people who are in shape, people who have a strong worldview that, you know, with business, you get around these people and you get dragged up to that standard and to that level, because that's what you're exposed to, and then it just becomes your norm. It literally becomes effortless. It becomes easy. Think back to the gym. If that machine wasn't there, I wouldn't be doing abs. My abs wouldn't be looking as good. But the fact that it's just there, it's effortless nearly. Obviously I have to do the reps, but it's like I'm there, it's easy, it's nearly automatic, and now the outcome is so much easier. And this is honestly the same in any area of your life. It really is. It really, really is. It's get around the right people, and that can be hard. And sometimes you might be in a position where listening to a podcast is you getting around the right people. And then if you're in a better position, and you know, to be honest, even I remember my last €1,000 when COVID happened. I came back. I wanted to go all in on business, my physique, my career, and I spent my last £1,000 on building a homemade gym back home, and which was a couple of bars and some dumbbells, and invested my last couple of £100. I think it was £500 for the gym, £500 for my coach for like an 8-week block. But that completely changed the course of my life. So it's like, with your finances and your investments as well, don't spend it on booze, don't spend it on stupid shit, designer clothes, stuff that's actually not going to make you feel better deep down. You're kind of nearly validating yourself and hoping people will think you're cool because you have a fucking Gucci t-shirt on, but yet your belly's out here hanging. It just doesn't work. Okay, so invest in yourself, get your body right, get your mind right. That's the staple, because then you can think a lot clearer. And then you can really start becoming aware of your environment. You can audit it, and then you can make sure that you make the right investments to get around the right people. This is information, but you need to just sit with yourself. You need to audit your current environment and actually implement, whether you're trying to grow your business, whether you're trying to hit your first 100k month, 10k month, whether you're trying to start your business, whether you're trying to get out of your 9 to 5. It doesn't matter. You need to be self-aware. You need to get the gym done. You need to get the mindset work done. You need to get your body, mind primed. And then what happens is you have clarity. You have an understanding as to who you are and what you want out of life. Then you become so self-aware that you can audit the environments that you're in. You can figure out whether they're bringing you towards or further away from those goals. Remove what's negative, add what's positive, and I promise you, you will get to where you want to go. It's as simple as that. You cannot not achieve. As long as you show up and do the work. At the end of the day, I'm not saying you don't have to work. You have to get into the right rooms. You have to soak up the right information. You have to install the right beliefs from the people that are where you want to be, and just do the daily reps, and life is so much better. You wake up, you've purpose each and every day, you love who you are, you're fulfilled. Guys, for me, that's the most important thing. Like, external factors and like external materialistic things don't matter a fuck. You can have all, and I know people who have all the materialistic things, but they don't like themselves. They're out of shape. They're spending their money on women and fucking clothes and cars, and it's just stupid shit, and they're trying to feel some sort of a feeling from the external, but you need to get that from the internal. So you need to do the deep work, you need to hit the gym, and you need to do it sooner rather than later, because at the end of the day, the bad habits that you have right now, you're enforcing them. Every single day that you keep doing those bad habits, they're becoming stronger and stronger. So you need to decide now, you need to snap out of it. Get your body, get your mind right, get that clarity, get an understanding as to who you are, what you want, get into the right environments, and life changes pretty quickly, guys. I love you lots. Peace and love. Have a fantastic, beautiful day.